the golf world held its breath. On a perfectly manicured green in Southeast Asia, a young woman stood over a putt that would change history forever. 23 years. That's how long the record had stood. 23 years since Anakah, Zornstam, the most dominant female golfer of her generation, set a mark that experts swore would never be touched. **** Legends tried. Hall of Famers came close. But the record remained untouchable. Monument to perfection that seemed carved in stone for eternity, until now. Jeeno Thitikul, just 21 years old, stepped up to that ball with the weight of history crushing down on her shoulders. The crowd was silent. Cameras zoomed in. Social media was already exploding. One swing, one moment. ***, everything she'd worked for her entire life came down to this single shot. Miss it, and she'd be just another golfer who came close. Make it, and she'd etch her name alongside the greatest to ever play the game. But here's what nobody expected. What happened next wasn't just about breaking a record. It was about shattering expectations. It was about a girl from Thailand who wasn't supposed to be here, defying every odd, every doubt, every voice that said she couldn't do it. The ball rolled. Time seemed to stop. And then ... chaos. Pure. Unfiltered chaos? ***, what Jeeno Thitikul accomplished in that moment didn't just break Anakah's record, it obliterated it. It sent shockwaves through every golf course, every country club, every corner of the sporting world. This isn't just a story about golf. This is a story about the impossible becoming possible. About a young woman who refused to accept that some achievements are out of reach. About the day that changed women's golf forever. And trust me, what you're about to discover will leave you absolutely stunned before we dive into this incredible story. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We bring you the most amazing sports stories that you won't find anywhere else. Don't miss out on content that will blow your mind every single week. Let's rewind the clock. To understand what makes Jeeno's achievement so earth-shattering, you need to know who Anakah Zornstam was. We're not talking about just any golfer. We're talking about a phenomenon. A force of nature who dominated women's golf in a way that seemed almost unfair to her competitors. ***. In 2001, Anakah set a scoring record that made jaws drop across the globe. The numbers seemed impossible. The consistency seemed inhuman. Golf analysts studied her technique frame by frame, trying to understand how one person could be that perfect. For years, she made the difficult look effortless, the impossible look routine. She won 72 official LPGA tournaments, 10 majors, and became the first woman to play in a PGA Tour event in 58 years. Her name became synonymous with excellence. But it was that one specific record. The one set in 2001 that became her most untouchable legacy. Golfers who came after her would shake their heads in disbelief when they looked at the numbers. How did she do that? Was it even humanly possible to replicate? Season after season, the record stood. Champions rose and fell. New stars emerged and faded. But Anakah's mark remained. Looming over the sport like an impossible mountain no one could climb. Then came Jeeno Thitikul, born in Bangkok, Thailand. In 2003, 2 years after Anakah set her legendary record, Jeeno grew up in a world where that achievement was already gospel. She was just a kid hitting balls at a driving range when coaches would tell stories about the great Anakah, about records that would never be broken, about heights that were simply unreachable for mere mortals. But Jeeno wasn't like other kids. While most children her age were playing with toys, she was obsessing over golf swings. While her friends were watching cartoons, she was watching tournament footage, studying the greats, learning every nuance of the game. Her parents noticed something special early on. There was a fire in her eyes, a determination that couldn't be taught or manufactured. This wasn't just passion. This was destiny calling. By her early teens. Jeeno was already turning heads in junior tournaments across Asia. The precision, the mental toughness, the way she handled pressure that would crush most adults. Coaches started whispering that Thailand might have found their next superstar. But even they didn't dare predict what was coming. Asterisk, she turned professional at 14. 14. Most kids that age are worried about high school exams and weekend plans. Jeeno was competing against the world's best golfers. Learning on the fly, absorbing every lesson the sport could teach her. The early years were tough. There were losses that stung. Moments of doubt that crept in during the lonely hours of practice. Times when the dream seemed too big, the challenge too great. Asterisk, but champions aren't built in moments of triumph. They're forged in moments of struggle. Jeeno kept grinding. Tournament after tournament, year after year, she got better, sharper, more confident. Her swing became poetry. Her mental game became unbreakable. By her late teens, she wasn't just competing anymore. She was dominating. Wins started piling up. Rankings started climbing. The golf world started paying attention. Asterisk. But there was always that number. Anakah's number. The record that haunted every elite female golfer on the planet. Jeeno knew it. She thought about it. During practice rounds, during quiet moments before tournaments, during interviews when reporters would casually mention it, always there, always lurking, always impossible. Asterisk until November 2024. The tournament started like any other. Jeeno was playing well, but not spectacularly. Solid rounds, good positioning, nothing that suggested history was about to be made. But as the final day approached, something shifted. You could see it in her eyes, in the way she carried herself on the course. There was a zone that elite athletes talk about, that place where time slows down, where distractions disappear, where everything clicks into place with supernatural clarity. Jeeno entered that zone. Asterisk, birdie after birdie. Each shot more precise than the last. The crowd started buzzing. Commentators started checking their scorecards, doing the math, realizing what was happening. Social media exploded. People who hadn't watched golf in years suddenly tuned in, because everyone could feel it. Something historic was unfolding in real dash time. Asterisk, by the back nine, the whispers had become roars. She was actually going to do it. After 23 years, someone was actually going to break Anakah's record. The pressure would have destroyed most players. The weight of expectation, the magnitude of the moment, it was suffocating. But Jeeno didn't crack. If anything, she got stronger. Asterisk, every putt found its target. Every drive split the fairway. It was like watching a master artist create their magnum opus, each stroke deliberate and perfect. Her caddy later said he'd never seen anyone so locked in, so completely in control, while the entire world watched. Asterisk, then came the 18th hole. This was it. One hole between her and immortality. One hole between being just another great golfer and becoming a legend who shattered the unshakable. The crowd was massive. Cameras everywhere. You could cut the tension with a knife. Jeeno stood on that tee box, and for just a moment you could see her pause, taking it all in, understanding the magnitude. Asterisk, then she swung. The drive was perfect. The approach shot was flawless. And then, standing over that final putt, the one that would rewrite history time, seemed to stop. The ball rolled toward the cup. Slowly. Impossibly slowly. The entire golf world, watching one small white sphere moving across perfectly trimmed grass, it dropped. Pandemonium. Pure, absolute pandemonium. The crowd erupted. Her caddy jumped. Jeeno herself stood there for a second, almost in disbelief, before the emotions hit her like a tidal wave. She'd done it. She'd actually done it. 23 years of Anakah's record standing untouched, and Jeeno Thitikul had just demolished it. Asterisk, the numbers were staggering. Not just breaking the record, absolutely shattering it. Golf analysts immediately started calling it one of the greatest single-round performances in women's golf history. Maybe in golf history, period. The precision required, the mental fortitude, sheer skill level, it was otherworldly. Asterisk. But here's what makes this story even more remarkable. Jeeno didn't just break a record. She showed an entire generation of young golfers, especially young women from countries not traditionally known as golf powerhouses, that the impossible is just a challenge waiting to be conquered. Asterisk, think about what this means. A girl from Thailand, a country where golf isn't even the most popular sport, standing on top of the world, breaking a record held by one of the greatest golfers ever, proving that talent, dedication, and heart can overcome any obstacle, any expectation, any limitation that society tries to place on you. Asterisk, Anakah Zornstam herself reached out after the round. The respect between legends, one passing the torch to another. Anakah said she always knew her record would be broken eventually, but she never expected it to be demolished with such authority. She praised Jeeno's performance as one of the finest displays of golf she'd ever witnessed. Asterisk, and Jeeno. In her post-round interview, fighting back tears, she talked about dreaming of this moment since she was a child, about the sacrifices her family made, about the coaches who believed in her when others didn't, got the young girls in Thailand and around the world who now have proof that their dreams aren't too big. Asterisk. This is what sports is really about. Not just the records and the trophies, but the moments that transcend the game itself, the moments that inspire millions, the moments that change what we believe is possible. November 2024 will be remembered as the month when the impossible died. When a 21-year-old from Bangkok showed the world that records, no matter how legendary, are meant to be broken. Jeeno Thitikul didn't just make history, she rewrote it. And something tells me this is just the beginning of her story. Asterisk, if this video amazed you, smash that like button, share it with everyone who needs to see greatness in action, and subscribe because we're bringing you more incredible stories like this every single week. History was made, and you were here to witness it.